Okay guys, just to show you what I'm working on this electric motion escape and putting those hand guards on. This is the second video. I'll have a link down to the my first hand guard video with more details on things you may be running into. But all right, after all my research, hopefully I'm saving you guys some time. Basically, I bought the Enduro Engineering because I was trying to find the cleanest, simplest, cost-effective hand guard. I don't like bulk. I don't want all this weight on my steering system and so forth. And I also was hoping I'd find something that was made specifically for this electric motion, but there's nothing really out there at this point. Even the guys at the distributor for electric motion said they just put Enduro Engineering, brush guards on. So this is the pack I got. This is probably the most cost-effective one you can get, and we're going to make this work. There's the exact model. I got it on Amazon. I'll put a link down below. It's like 42 or 44 bucks. I actually think they went up like $2 recently. But anyway, there's the package. It came with all this hardware. I'll show you what it came with. It came with obviously the bar. It's got the Enduro Engineering logo on there. It's just a sticker or whatever. And then it came with this stuff. Not the curved hooked one, which I don't think you'll really need depending upon, well, you might, depending upon how you set your stuff up. And then it came with these expansion wedge bolts for the bar end. So I've got to drill these electric motion bars, which is kind of a pain because I don't have the best drill bits, but I probably might have to go to the hardware store, but that's like an hour away or yeah, hour and a half round trip. Anyway, we'll see if we can make this work and go from there. So I've done all my research. Basically, my biggest concern was obviously the throttle side. The non-throttle side's easy. I was just trying to avoid jamming up my throttle when I fell, and also getting sand in it here in Florida because I ride Croom, which is just one big thing of sand. So any fall there and you got sand everywhere. So basically you need to measure the thickness or the wall width of your bar with something like this. I'm getting like 10.1. The initial lip is a little narrow, but that's just a little lip of aluminum right there. So we'll go with the fact that I need to get like start off with like a 10 or so drill bit. Now I got a drop cloth down so I don't make a mess here, but I'm just going to start drilling with this little bit larger bit, or I'm sorry, little bit larger. It's not the right size to fit my fitting. My fitting measures a hair over 13 millimeters. My largest drill bit that actually works in this drill, because it's only the 3/8 jobber, I think. Yeah, is that what you call it? Luckily, is like a 14 and change, so it should work. Let's see what this does. Yeah, I'm making a nice mess. So I knocked out that initial lip. As I told you, that initial lip is kind of telling me that it was, what do you want to call it, narrower than it was. All right, so that's the only bit I have until I jump to this one. The only reason this fits is because it's the tapered smaller shaft, so this does fit in this drill. This is going to be a little tricky, kind of trying to go this much meat right off the bat. Now I had the bike kind of on a hook here so I could dump these shavings where I wanted them. Let me see if I can get a better angle and get this camera out of my way. I'm going to try to adjust this a little bit. But anyway, you guys know what I'm doing here, so I'll just try to start drilling, see if I can. I'm going to put it on slower so I'm not going crazy. I'm going to go to higher speed to see if I can kind of do a little more fine cutting instead of. All right. Okay, guys, this video is not going great, but I'll try to cut it down for you. So what I did, I put a little tiny piece of fuel line right in here. I wanted to force this wedge fitting to be deeper in the bar so that this outer lip might get hung up as well. Okay, guys, I talked about grinding that fitting. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to knock down that lower lip with this little drill grinder thing. So I'll be right back. I'm going to do this outside as to not make dust everywhere. Hang on. All right, guys, I hit it a little harder. Now I stopped screwing around with the lightweight file and grinder, and I went with the bad boy. A couple of touches on this thing at whatever RPM this thing is. I don't know, 5,000, who knows? And you can reshape that pretty quick. So I just decided to hit it with that a little bit, and here's what I have. I'm trying to taper it towards the thickness of the bars If you can see, that's I knocked these out, these lips where it gets fatter down a little bit more. So now I know for sure I'm going to have more bolt getting through. I know this is a slow play-by-play, but kind of learning along the way here, unfortunately. I knew this was going to be an issue, but how much I did not know. And let's see what it feels like this time, or looks like. Okay, we got some threading in much better now. Okay, let's get this bolt in again before, just so things we know for sure line up before we start biting down on it too hard. That's already cocked a little bit. Let me see if I can know what's going on. You want a nice friendly thread. I'm gonna leave that out there. You guys see okay? Am I showing you the right area? Let's see here. All right, let's just get this into a friendly position without it being all jammed up and cross-threaded. Doesn't really want to not cross-thread there. Okay, phew. No cross-threading there. All right, guys, I'm doing the throttle side just to show you the, like I said, get a smaller drill bit. Get a 13 millimeter. This is like a 14.1. I got the bike leaned over and covered up so the metal shavings don't get all over it. That's the electric motion. And I'm trying to drill this straight, so I got it bar on the ground. Obviously all the shavings hopefully will slide out the other side, so remember not to put your other side together. You got to blow your shavings out yet. So we'll see what happens here. I'm going to go as straight as humanly possible and try not to ream out too much so that I don't have a loose hole. I really probably should have went and got a different bit. I just don't feel like driving into town and want to get this done. Talk to you guys, or we'll see how this goes. Yep, there we go. Okay, we're going to make shavings all over the place. All right. All right, it's deep enough, guys. Remember, that sucker is going to heat up. Yeah, I probably went deeper than I needed to go, but I wanted to get this sucker in there deep this time. Yeah, that's nice and deep. And then, okay, I think I'm done. All right, guys, so that's the trick. Get the right drill bit. Go to the store, get the right one. Like I said, I would have liked a tighter fit, but it's doing the job. Remember, there's no shear. This is shear strength. I can't shove it in any deeper because I decided to just push the bar straight up against the handlebar. So when I fall on a rock, pound this in, I'm not going to get any movement. The only threading it really gave me no advantage. I mean, threading doesn't stop rotation of your brush bars, as you know. The only thing that's going to stop rotation is probably the bite into the handlebar on the other bracket. All right, that's that. Like I said, use your grinder to shape your other bracket, the bracket towards the triple tree, towards the center of the forks there, and we'll go from there. Remember, things get hot. These are toasty. Talk to you in a bit. Okay, guys, I just picked the bike up. I showed you I had it laid down. Here's the mess I made. That's why I put down this sheet, because I got this kind of fuzzy carpet that grabs that crap, the aluminum shaving. So, like I said, make sure you leave your other side off so that you can blow the whole bar out from, side to side. So I tapped it all out, blew it all out, and now everything's clean. So just to summarize, I used that bit. I set a depth on it with the tape, and I drilled it out. You can see down in the hole now. Try to get focus. You can see that lip to where I cut to, and the aluminum was soft. I was able to drill straighter when it was on the ground. So this is the side I drilled not on the ground, and the other side, the grip side, or the throttle side, I wanted to be a little better. So I drilled it on the ground with the stability of shoving it into the ground. So that helped a lot. So I, just trying to give you guys all the little nitty gritty you might run into with this thing. I know they can be easy to install. I have installed them before where I didn't have to do any cutting or screwing around and everything fit. But this bike is not as, what do you call it? Doesn't have as much stuff out there for it. Anyway, I hope that helps you guys. I will give you a finished end result once I get the grips cut, throttle back on. Talk to you later. Bye. Hey guys, now it's time to cut the grip. But my grip's still attached. You can get your grip off fairly easily. You have to undo the zip ties, obviously, and then there's enough slack kind of down in here. And then if you turn the steering wheel, bringing this bar into the body all the way, you can just slip that off the end. So now your grip's on the bench here, and we're going to cut the end of the grip off. So I'm going to use this scalpel I've got. This grip is, I've already coated it once with my grip goo, which I have another video for you on that. That's that tool dip stuff. That worked really well, actually. I fixed like 6 different grips with just dipping it in the tool glue. I'll put a link down below to that. But anyway, I just want to cut the very end off. I don't really want to see any white. Electric Motion's grip actually has an open-ended plastic piece in there anyway, so that you don't need to be cutting, at least in this case. So I'm just surgically taking off the end of the grip. I'm going to start small and hopefully do a nice clean cut. I don't know how clean it is, but it will be done. Just look where I'm going here. All right, so that's that. I mean, obviously I don't have any more room to shove the grip this way or it'll start hanging up. I mean, this grip is, I mentioned before, it's got a lighter spring. And as I mentioned, the tube is already open inside there. So I may cut a hair more off because I don't want that rubber hanging up on my brush guard. But I also, you know, I don't want to have it exposed too much because I don't want the sand to get in there, as I mentioned. So we'll go with this for now and leave it alone, and I can probably cut it while it's on the bike. So I'm going to get this thing back together and I'll show you the end results with everything. Talk to you guys in a bit. Okay guys, just a couple more tips. I did grind that down. I wanted it to come upward and to close tighter on the bar. Since these bars are starting to taper right here, so I ground those lips off too. So now, and I also hit that. I rounded that off. I was going to touch it up with a magic marker, but my magic marker's out. Doesn't matter. Because I was hitting my brake line over here, and I wanted to be able to rotate things around. I tend to keep my levers very far down, really for the standing position. I like my wrist to be in line better. So that's what I did there. And then this is able to get some good threading going on now. So because I took off that little bit of meat, I can get that threaded up so I'll get a bite without ripping the threads out. And that little bit of rounding that nub off helped it go past the brake. I do hit the bolt, so I'd have to actually shave down the bolt if I really wanted to get rid of more of that, but I don't think I need any more. So that's one quick tip. And then the last one I wanted to show you guys on this thing, let me just get that on, and then we'll look at this thing. Let me get in a little tighter. Okay, so the bar, what I'm doing is, since that's one of those wedge fittings, I'm using a little piece of fuel line like I showed you on the other side, just because I want this fitting to be jammed into the bar as far as possible before it starts wedging and jamming, so that this lip can catch as well. So that little bit of fuel line, it might also help seal the end of the bar from any sand or moisture, which doesn't really matter too much because the sand's really going to affect the grip. As you can see, I cut the grip off already. The Electric Motion tube already has the plastic tube cut on the throttle, but you can see that fits in there good. My grip's gonna be out of the way. I'm basically done here, guys. I just got to tighten things up. So I'll show you the end result in a minute or two, but I just wanted to show you that fuel line thing to jam that fitting in deeper, and shaving down a little bits of aluminum here to make that fit a little better, get the threads in deeper so I don't strip them. And then we'll just tighten up our grip so she just avoids the bar. And when we smash the end of that with a rock, it'll never be able to come in and hamper the throttle. Yeah, there's potential I'll get sand in the end of this. I'll just have to live with that and take it off from time to time and clean it. There's no easy way to get it off other than taking this bar right off the end. All right, I hope that helps you guys. I'll show you the end result later once they're all set. Bye. Okay, guys, finished up the Enduro Engineering brush guards, hand guards on the Electric Motion Escape 2022. Made it work. Been one of my longer videos. Sorry about that. I burned a hole in this grip with a hot bolt and a torch just because I wanted it clean. Cutting's never that great, but this grip's been a little beat up before, and just for the last 5 months worth of use. The only thing I forgot to do is put the zip ties back on, which I'll do right now. But these are rock solid. I showed you all my little tricks. You got to do a little grinding on here in this case. I did a little grinding. They're rock solid. I could probably lift the bike up either way with these things and not have them rotate. So happy with them. I don't like adding junk to my handlebars. I just feel the weight when you're going to wiggle the steering wheel, and tight, you know, rocky single track technical trails. I just like them light as a feather. But the pros outweighed the cons because I have been smashing the ends of my bars, and I have clipped a few knuckles and a few pinkies, and I've come close to breaking a lever, which luckily on this bike, if you broke a lever, it wouldn't leave you in the woods. If you broke a clutch off a standard bike, gas bike, you'd have a real hell of a time getting out of the woods, deep woods without a clutch lever. But it came out good, rock solid. Don't forget the logos are right side up. What else? Cut the end of this grip off. Grip is free and clear. Double check that. You saw my little fuel line trick to shove that fitting in there deeper. Like I said, I used a grinder to finesse these things up a little bit. Knocked off a little bit of that lip under there, if you can see that. And we're good to go. Hope it helps you guys. These, again, I'll put a link down below. Again, use a tighter drill bit than I did. You could probably use a 13. My fittings were about 13.1 millimeters. I used a 14.1 drill bit, as I mentioned, and that started to get a little sloppy. But try to drill straight and drill steady. And don't be going in and out a lot, or you'll wobble this outer part out too much. Talk to you guys later. Hope that helps. Take care. Good luck. Appreciate any likes and subscribes. Thanks, guys.